Hello, my name is Laura Rhodes and my major is real estate.
So today we're going to learn about creating macros to make something that you're going to be doing on the computer in Excel a little bit easier. First of all, to record a macro, you need to get to the part of the program to be able to record it. You can go to the View ribbon. Macros is over here, and you can hit on Record Macro. Another way to do this is to use the Developer tab. If you don't have the Developer tab up top, you can go to File, Options, go to Customize ribbon, and then go over here to the right towards the bottom and select the Developer tab. Now once you've done that, you've got Developer up at top. There's another way to start recording. It's right here, just record macro. However, my favorite way to record a macro is actually from the Developer tab right down here. You just click on the button, it will start recording, and then when you are done, you come back to the bottom and click again and it will stop. So for our first task, we're actually going to create a macro to copy all of this data here down into these cells down here. So in order to do that, we want to use our arrow keys instead of our mouse as much as possible when creating a macro, because sometimes it will create errors if you're using the mouse. So we always want to start in the cell that we're going to be starting with in our macro. So we're starting here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Start Recording. We're going to have to name our macro. So for this one, I'm just going to name it Copy. And we give it a shortcut key. My shortcut key is just going to be Shift-A. So when we do execute this macro, it's going to be Control-Shift-A. We hit OK, and then we are already recording our macro. So we're going to hit the Shift button, hold it down, and we're going to arrow over and arrow down to select the information that we want to copy. So to copy, we hit Control-C, and then we can also use our arrows to come down to the next block, and we just hit Control-V to copy the information. Now our macro has been created. We don't want to touch anything else. We just want to come back down to the bottom and stop. So now that we see how easy it is to create a macro, now we'll see why it's important to create macros when you have to do very tedious tasks that have lots of steps and could possibly create errors the more steps that you have to take. For this macro, we're going to create a macro that takes the information in the yellow squares and moves it one cell counterclockwise. And the information in the blue cells are going to move one cell clockwise. And the information in the middle white cells isn't going to move at all. We're going to click the Start button at the bottom to start recording. And we're just going to name this macro Shift. We're going to give it a shortcut of B and start recording. For this macro, it's a lot more difficult. You have to move everything one cell counterclockwise to start with. So we're going to take the information in the first cell, we're going to copy it, and we're just going to move it over here to the left. Then we are going to start moving our other cells one cell counterclockwise. To do this, we're just going to copy it and then paste it in the cell next to it. And then we're just going to fast forward this for you so you don't have to sit here and watch. And now that we've gotten to the end, we're going to go ahead and copy the A and place it in the ending point where we want it. Now we need to move the blue data one cell clockwise. So we're going to do the same process, just in the opposite direction. Now the last thing that we do before we stop recording the macro is to go over to the data here, and we're going to select it. So we have all of it highlighted, and we're going to delete it. So we're going to click on the data, right click, delete, and we're going to shift the cells up. Okay. And the very last thing is to ensure that we get the mouse right back where we started. And then we're going to hit stop recording. Okay, so now that we've created our second macro, it is time to test them both. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and clear the contents in these cells again. Right click, clear contents. And we're going to use our first macro, which was Control-Shift-A. We've got our information copied. That works. And then we're going to test our information for Control-Shift-B. So Control-Shift-B. So let's just test it a couple more times just to ensure that the macro is functioning properly. Control-Shift-B. It's moved one more cell, and Control-Shift-B. And there you have it.